If you have lower back pain or discomfort, it may be from tight hamstrings. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 dynamic stretches and 3 static stretches for your hamstrings that can help alleviate lower back discomfort. For the first dynamic stretch, I'm in a sumo stance position and I'm just rocking back and forth. If you can't touch the ground in this position, try using yoga blocks or pillows underneath your hands to give you support. For our second stretch, I just call this a dynamic hamstring stretch. I want you to start slow and controlled with this movement. If your hamstrings are tight, you may feel like you have restricted range of motion. Remember, the goal with this stretch is to feel our hamstrings stretching. We don't want to feel it anywhere else, and we shouldn't feel any lower back pain with this movement. And for our third dynamic stretch, this is going to work our hip flexor as well as our hamstring. When I glide my hips forward, I feel the stretch in my front hip flexor, and then when I come back, I'm easing into my hamstring and feeling the stretch there. With these 3 dynamic movements, these stretches, I want you to go slow and controlled with them. If you've never done dynamic stretching before, you might feel like your range of motion is limited and you might feel tightness in other areas that you weren't expecting to feel tightness. Be sure to listen to your body while you're performing these stretches. If you feel really tight or if you feel like your range of motion just isn't there, don't push through any pain. All right, with that being said, let's go to the 3 static stretches now. Our first static stretch is a ragdoll pose, which you may have done in yoga before. This will feel great on your hamstrings and your lower back if you've never done it before. You can have your arms up like you just saw, or you can bring them down to the ground or close to the ground. Our second static stretch is a static hamstring stretch. So now I'm using a resistance band. I'm not doing that dynamic movement that you saw before. With all stretches, especially this one, it's easy to forget to breathe and we might hold our breath while we're doing the stretch. I never want you to hold your breath. When we're stretching, we're focusing on deep inhales and exhales. And every time we exhale, we want to go a little bit further into the stretch, but not past the point of discomfort. With this static hamstring stretch, using the band, you can have your leg right above you, and then you can also bring your leg out to the side. That's going to focus on a different area of your hamstring, which it might feel good or it might not feel so good, so just feel it out. And last but not least, we have a seated hamstring stretch, which you've probably done since you were a kid. This is an underrated stretch because we usually forget to do this stretch. With this, I want you to focus on slow, controlled movements and don't try to go too far, too fast. With that being said, that's all for this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you want, hit that subscribe button.